raise children. So, as a parent, even as parents ourselves, we don't know everything. And you need to understand, we don't know, we're learning at the same time that you're learning. So, because children do not come with a manual. Yeah, even an egg timer comes with a manual. But children do not come with a manual. So based on, you know, your parents' upbringing, that will impact on how they bring up your children as well. So I understand every family here will have a different dynamic. You may have like single parent, and I really dislike the term single parent family, but that's what they use. You'll have single parent families, and you'll have the, you know, the nuclear family, the two parents and so on. So every dynamic will be different. So when I'm speaking, it'll be in very general terms because I accept that everybody it may be slightly different. And you also have people here whose first language is not English, and that's another additional barrier. Okay, in terms of helping their child, because the child is going to an English-speaking school. So if your parents' first language is not English, you also need to take that into consideration as to how far that they can help you. So this is your last year, and it's not even a whole year that you have. You really have about 6 months. This is what I told my daughter. She really has about 6 months, and that's all. So don't look at it in terms of a year. You have about 6 months to make a difference. Now, at the beginning, Mr. Charles spoke, and he said the reason why you in particular are here, because you need to either raise your game and get an A to C in maths and or English, or both subjects. So your teachers have done a lot of work doing data collection to identify the need here. A lot of work has gone into bringing you all here today to make sure that you can be successful, because I don't want to leave you behind. So they're focusing on everybody so that everyone can achieve. So that's why you're here today. And they've put things in place to facilitate that. The parents that are here today, as a parent, my daughter is 15, she's in year 11. And I looked at it like this. There are certain sacrifices that I have to make for my daughter right now. There are things that I have to do and there are things that I need to do. But what's important is what do I need to do in order to help her. Sure, I can tell her that she needs to wash up, but I'd rather have her studying. Sure, I'd like her to have a tidy room, but I'd rather have her studying. So we need to make real choices now about what's actually important for our children. And we also need to, in terms of the triangle that both Mr. Charles and Andrew spoke on, it really is a three-way process. It's the parent or the home, the parent, the child, and the school. One cannot work independent of the other. So we need to understand our responsibility, because with that responsibility comes a commitment. We have to be committed to helping our children succeed. And we have to be consistent. That consistency is like if your child does wrong and you give them a sanction, like we talked about the games, you take away the games. After a week, and they've been good for like, 2 days, you don't give them back the game. You've got to be consistent. 6 months. No games, no TVs, or limited use of that is not going to kill them. I told my daughter, it's not going to kill her. It's not going to kill. They're not going to die if they can't get to watch TV or play a computer game. But what they will gain is a passport to their future. This is what we need to be aware of. And children, you might want to give all the, an argument and the kiss teeth and whatever, it doesn't work. Parents, that's over your head. And we need to also decide what we're going to challenge. We need to become masters of response when it comes to our children. Do I need to respond to that? Then we get into a tussle. That time is then wasted. You can't get that time back. What do we actually need to do? Something we have to let go of our heads. Because what we're going to focus on is getting them to get that A to C grade in maths and English. I worked in a sixth form centre. So children, when you go to college or sixth form centre and you do certain subjects, you need to have that. Otherwise, you have to do it at the same time as you're doing your other course. And you could be doing something else. And then if you don't get that A to C in maths or English, a subject that you may want to do, you cannot do. Because the timetable won't allow you to do that subject and take the additional GCSE maths or English. This is how colleges work. You just don't go and say, I want to do blah, blah, blah. It's all prepared and there's blocks. So if you want to do psychology, but you haven't got your English, and there's additional English classes in that same time block, you cannot do psychology. Because they have to fit that timetable based on need. So getting your A to C in maths and English is seriously, critically important for you. If you want choice, You need that. And what you want is choice. You don't want to have to like be limited in what you want to do. You want to have as much choice as possible. Because right about now, we're all here because of a choice. So if you take yourself a year from now, imagine yourself this time next September 2012, what do you want to see in yourself? Where do you want to be? If you want to be at the college of your choice, what's going to get you there? You have to begin with the end in mind. So you can work forward is one way, but then you can trip up a lot going forward. But if you work backwards, it stops you from tripping up.